Morning, good afternoon, good evening. If it is evening where you are, how are you doing? How is everyone? Welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. So, how are you doing? How is everyone? Happy new month. Yeah. Welcome to the final month of 2025. Doesn't it seem like, wow, only yesterday that we got into 2025 and here we are in the month of December? Hmm. I can't even really fully believe we're already in December and on the second day of December already. So, how are you? How has it been? How is everything? I trust all is well with us. So, yeah, it was in November. November, we looked at thankfulness. I'm sure we experienced things in that month. I did, like I told us in the last session. Um, November was the month for me somehow. I don't know how else to explain it, but it was really an interesting month. A lot of things happened, and I really, really had reasons to be thankful. And I'm glad I was doing this series on thankfulness at that time. Let me just confirm volume. Oh, yes. So on Instagram, we are live and there is volume. On Facebook, yes, we are live and there is volume. Awesome. Um, Let me just check on LinkedIn. All right, we are live on LinkedIn also. Let me just check something on LinkedIn. Okay, yes. So LinkedIn is also, and there's volume there also. And YouTube, all right. So we're live everywhere we need to be live. Awesome. Whoa. All right. So welcome once again to Growth Habits with Ngozi. As I said, I am your personal guide on this journey of growth. I remain your personal guide. I will always be your personal guide on this journey of growth. And I was asking us how has it been? This 2025 seems to have flown by. I don't know how it is for you, but for me, this year has just flown by. When it started, it was like, okay, but here we are, December 2025. So, we are starting a new series today, and this month of December, for the whole month of December, we're going to take time because we're entering a new year. Yeah. So we're going to take time to pause. We're going to take time to reflect. We're going to take time to align, realign, and we're going to take time to prepare for the coming year. That is what we are going to do in the next few weeks. We're going to look at how to really prepare for this year. Coming year, sorry. How to prepare for this coming year. So we'll be focusing on habits that shape our capacity to receive, to understand, to walk in God's direction for 2026. That's what we are going to be looking at for the month of December. Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't have this here. I was looking for something on my phone just to see. Um, Yeah, so we're looking at habits of vision anyway for this month of December. Habits of vision, being able to prepare for the coming year, being able to put things in order to ensure that we don't just, we're not just floating through 2026. Ordinarily, ordinarily, by now, we should have started this process of preparing for 2026. Ordinarily, we should have started it before now, but it's never late. So we're starting it now. If you have not started, this is your time. Start now. Start now to prepare for 2026. I see you, the uncle, on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. I think this is your first time. Welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. I lead us on this journey, but the important thing is that I also go on the journey with you. I don't just tell you what to do. I actually do it alongside you. That's why I said I'm a mentor, not a coach. Because a coach doesn't play. I don't know if you have seen a coach that plays football or whatever sport. The coach doesn't um, usually play. Maybe during practice session, he shows the players what to do. But once the match starts, once the game is on, the coach sits or stands by the sidelines and just advises the players what to do. But a mentor goes the journey with you, doesn't just tell you what to do. It also goes on that journey with you. So that's why I say that I'm a growth mentor, because I go on the journey with you. I just need to give me 1 minute. I need to respond to this message. It's kind of urgent. All right. Sorry, I have to just send out that message. My apologies. So, yes, that is the series we are starting on, habits of vision, preparing for 2026. This is what we are looking at in this month of December. So I'm just going to give us an overview of what this series will contain. The first one, which is today, is Reflect with Purpose. Lessons from 2025. Reflection is so important and so key for you to move forward. If you don't reflect and think on what went right, what went wrong, and all that, I don't know how you're going to move forward in the next year. So we're starting off with reflection, reflecting with purpose, and that's taking the lessons from 2025 and being able to move on with it. In week 2, we're going to look at reset and realign, letting go of what holds you back. You've done the reflection, so you've seen the possible limitations, you've seen the things that could possibly hold you back. Then you reset and you realign. Week 3, we're going to be looking at crafting a vision. There's setting God aligned goals, purpose aligned goals, not just goals. Many of us, we just set goals, almost from thin air, but let the goals we are setting be purpose aligned. For Christians, they have to be God aligned. So that's what we're going to talk about in the 3rd week. In the 4th week, we're going to be talking about faith-fueled planning. That's building habits that match your vision. Because it's not enough to just have the vision. You have to build habits that will help you achieve that vision. That is why many of our New Year's resolutions don't last, because we have the plans, but we never build the habits that will help us sustain those plans, those resolutions. And the final week, we're going to be entering the new year strong, sustaining the momentum we have built from this reflection, from this reset, from this realignment, from this, crafting of our vision and everything. We're going to sustain that momentum into 2026. So that's what we're going to be looking at for the month of December. That's what we're going to be looking at for the month of December. And Matthew Egop, I see you on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. I think this is also your first time, so welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. So, as I said, today our focus is going to be on reflection, reflecting with purpose, reflecting with purpose. That's looking back at our 2025 and being able to take the lessons, the learnings, and all from that reflection and then moving on. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. Please, if you are joining me, especially on Facebook, do let me know. Um, I can see who joined me on Instagram, but most times, until you make a comment on Facebook, I don't know that you are there. So please do let me know. You're joining me on YouTube. Let me know. Are you joining me on LinkedIn? Let me know. Just a comment, something, so that I will know that you are there. All right. Thank you. Once again, we're moving right into today's session. So, why reflection matters. Why are we even talking about this? What is even reflection? Really, what is it? What is the definition? What does it mean? And why bother? Why bother with it? Reflection is an act, is an intentional act because you don't reflect um, haphazardly. It's an intentional act where you pause to review, where you pause to evaluate, to interpret, and also to extract meaning from your experiences, from the things that have happened to you. So that is what reflection is all about. But the important thing to note there is an intentional act. It's not, it's not haphazard. You don't just reflect for the sake of it. It is something you sit down and do because you want to take away something from it. So reflection is like the bridge between wisdom and experience, between your vision and what's actually happened. So reflection is very important and it's very key. I I used to reflect before, but not intentionally, because I just maybe somewhere somehow think about what happened, think about how the year went, but I never for a long time I did not sit down and do it with intentionality. And because I did not do it with intentionality, the next year I will find myself basically almost repeating whatever happened in the previous year. And that's because I didn't really take time to document, I didn't take time to really evaluate or to interpret what happened in the previous year. I just took note of what happened. Oh, I messed up here, messed up there, and I moved on. I didn't really sit down to ask the key questions that were necessary. I didn't sit down to put down what would I do differently. But when I began to do reflection with intention, that's when I began to see results. Anytime I don't do it, I notice the difference. I don't just wait to the end of the year anymore to do reflection. I don't always wait to the end of the year. I have periods of reflection throughout the year. Sometimes I do quarterly, not all the time. Sometimes I do monthly. I even do weekly reflection. So it's important that we are intentional with this reflection. It's not just a matter of um, let me just think about what happened. No, you have to sit down, reason it out, put down things, write down things, and then take tangible steps forward from there. Find tangible ways forward from that point of reflection. Of course, if you're a Christian, you know that even the Bible teaches us to reflect. Lamentations 3, yeah, I had to just confirm that. 3 verse 40 says, let us examine our ways and test them. Then let us return to the Lord. So we need to examine our ways. That's what reflection really is. Examine our ways. Test those ways. How did we do well? How didn't we? Test those ways and then move forward from there. So if you truly want to grow, if you truly want to experience growth in whatever aspect of your life, reflection is not optional. It is essential. It is difficult to grow when you don't know what you did wrong. You don't know how to move forward. You don't know the missteps you took. You don't know, how to correct the missteps. It's reflection that helps you do that. So it is not optional if you truly want to grow. Reflection is not optional. It is essential. It is a prerequisite for growth, really. Because if you don't reflect, I'm trying to even think, how do you move forward if you don't do any reflection, really? How do you truly move forward if you have not thought of what did you do wrong? What did you do right? You have not taken time to evaluate. You've not taken time to interpret. You've not taken time to review. How do you really move forward? What do you know that you're moving forward to or moving forward from? So it's not, it's not optional. Reflection is not optional. Coach Ify, I see you on Instagram. Thank you for joining me today. It's not optional. It is absolutely essential. It is required that we reflect. Now, most people, I mentioned that sometimes I do monthly, sometimes I do quarterly reflection of, what is happening with me. But some people just wait till the end of the year. It's not bad. The important that you're actually doing a reflection. But I would also suggest that we don't just wait till the end of the year to do reflection. You can do it every week, really. You can even do it at the end of each day. But the detailed sit down that I'm talking about now is the one you do at the end of the year. You sit down, you review your whole year. What are the things? Review it, evaluate it, interpret it, and extract meaning. This is the key point. Extract meaning. Reflection without extracting meaning, without interpreting, really, I think is a waste of time. So you have to not just review your year, not just evaluate your year, you have to interpret and extract meaning from your experiences, from the things that happened to you, from the things you went through, from the details of the year that you're reflecting on. You must interpret and you must extract meaning. That is very, very important aspect. Okay, so what is the power of reflection? What are the things reflection can do for us? That's what I want to look at right now. What are those things that reflection can really do for us? Number one is that reflection boosts learning. This is based on a research by Harvard Business School. They did a study, and that study shows that people who reflect intentionally, remember, grow faster. They make better decisions. People who reflect intentionally, that is, people who don't just review, they evaluate, they interpret, and they extract meaning. That is intentional reflection. These people, according to a study done by Harvard Business School, they grow faster and they make better decisions. And I mean, it goes without saying, really. It's a no-brainer that if you sit down, review all that happened, evaluate what it means, interpret it, and extract meaning from it, definitely you will grow, because you would have seen maybe where you went wrong and looked at how to make it better. So it is essential. It is essential that we do reflection. Nona's World, welcome. I see you on Instagram. Good to have you here with me. Now, the second thing that reflection does for you is that it rewires your brain. We have talked about this rewiring of brain so many times. And it is, honestly, it's always kind of surprising for me to find that the things that we have read about, like in the Bible, There's scientific proof for it. So reflection rewires your brain. Neuroscience has confirmed this. This is confirmed by research. And that when you reflect on your past experiences, when you reflect on um, the things that have gone by, it strengthens the neural pathways and improves memory, focus, emotional regulations. The pathways that regulate memory, focus, emotional regulation, they are strengthened, they are improved when you reflect on past experiences. That is neuroscience. Neuroscience has proven this. So it's not just, oh, this is what I think. It has been proven. So it's good that we reflect. Then reflection reduces anxiety. It actually does. And studies have also proved this, that when you reflect, you of course, you reduce mental clutter. You take away a lot of junk that's running around in your head, and it increases clarity. Things make sense. Things make better sense when you sit and you reflect, and then you can make better decisions. You are more stable emotionally, you're more stable all round because you took out time to sit and figure out. You're not being emotional with your decisions. You're not just reacting emotionally. You actually sat down to review. You actually sat down to reflect. You actually sat down to evaluate. And you actually sat down to take the lessons, to extract the meaning from the things that you have looked at. So, reflection reduces anxiety. You really have less things to worry about when you sit down and you reflect. You won't beat yourself up for things that really, really maybe you couldn't do anything about, really, as in really, because you've sat down and x-rayed it. You won't beat yourself up for it. So it does reduce anxiety. It does reduce anxiety. Another thing is that reflection clarifies identity. Once you evaluate something, it means you understand that thing because you have taken time, evaluated it, you understand it. And when you understand something, you can improve on it. So definitely this clarifies, it helps you understand you. It helps you understand you when you reflect, when you look at um, when you review your situation and extract the meaning from the review that you have just done, the data that you have gathered from the review. You evaluate it to extract meaning from it. It definitely makes things clearer. It makes things clearer. I don't know how else to say this, but it definitely makes things clearer. Don't joke with it. Um, Good. Chiefy says, reflect and review is always the last session of my coaching programs. Yeah, it's very essential. And she says, reflections help you know what works, what does not, and how do I go from here. So true. So true. That is the truth. So now I'm going to give us, I have a framework of what to reflect on. It's the 5L, the 5Ls of reflection. I'm just going to share that quickly with us. Number one is lessons. What did life teach you? These are the things you will reflect on. These are the things you will think on. What did your experiences teach you? What lessons are you going to extract from the things that happened to you? In that situation that you went through, what lessons did you learn? Um, what areas of your life, of your experience are being amplified, are being emphasized by what you went through? So, lessons. The first thing, the first thing I'm talking about today on what you should reflect on are lessons. What are the lessons from this past year? What did you truly learn? What did you truly learn? What did you truly learn? Because if you learned nothing, I'm wondering how you're going to move forward. So, what did you truly learn in this past year, in this past month, in this past week, whatever period, in this past quarter, whatever period you're doing the reflection? But remember that this one we're talking about end of year reflection. What did you truly learn? What are the lessons? Write them down. Write them down. The second thing is, what are the losses? What did I grieve? What did I outgrow? What did I lose in this period? What did I lose? What did I outgrow in this period that we're doing the assessments? See, that outgrow part is very essential. What did I outgrow? Many times we stick with things we have outgrown. This is one thing that I have seen. It happens to me. Oh. Not just it happens to me. You stick with either persons, actions, activities that you have outgrown because they are familiar, because they are comforting or comfortable. We stick with it. But in your time of reflection, truly sit down and think, what have I outgrown? What have I outgrown in this past year? What did I grieve because I lost it? What did I miss? Losses. What did I miss? What did I let go? What did I outgrow? I think I'm going back to that word, outgrow. What did I outgrow in this season? Lifts. What lifted you? What breakthroughs did you have in the year? What successes did you have in the period? What lifts existed in your life in this season? What are the things that went well? What are the things that were successful? What were the breakthroughs that you had? What were they? Why did you have them? Even as you look at the losses too, let me go back to that. Even when you look at what did you grieve, what did you release, what did you outgrow? Why? Remember the why part. Why? Why did you outgrow these things? Why did you lose these things? Why are you grieved? Or why did you grieve over these things? Why were these things minuses in your life? Remember the why. Because reflection is not just to list out, remember, it's not just to list out what didn't go well or what went well. You must evaluate it. You must evaluate what went well, what didn't go well. And you must extract meaning from it. So those losses and these lifts we are talking about now, why? What are the whys to them? What are the whys to them? Why did I succeed in this area? Why did I break through in this area? And spiritually speaking, you also have to look at what prayers were answered. Sometimes we don't realize, let me just say this here, we don't realize the quantity, honestly, of answered prayers we have because we did not reflect, we did not think back. I remember I keep telling myself I need to go back to this. I don't know why I've not gone back. Years ago, I had a prayer journal. It was actually a physical book that I used to write my prayer points, the things I'm asking God for. And I would just each year, new prayer points, each year, new prayer points. I realized, two, I think after 2 years of keeping that prayer journal, I realized I've never gone back to look at the prayers, maybe the ones I wrote 2 years ago, the prayer points I had at the beginning of 2020, whatever the year it was, or the prayer points I had along the line. I never really went back. I would just in the next year open my book and start a new list of prayer points. So after 2 years, I believe, one day I was just thinking, this your journal. Have any of these your prayers been answered? Or are you just building a record of prayers prayed? So I picked up my journal. Went back to the beginning, and it marveled me how many of the prayers I wrote down then had been answered. And they were answered, and I moved on with my life. See, they were answered and I moved on. But if I had been doing reflection then, I would have been more thankful to God. I would have been more thankful to God. I would have seen how much He has done for me. So lifts and losses, figure out, look at the why also. This is the one of the good things about reflection. Figure out the whys. Don't just, write down these are the issues or these are the lifts, these are the losses. Why are they losses? Why are they lifts? Why are they successes? Why are they breakthroughs? The next L is limits. Where were your weaknesses? Where were your blind spots? Well, where were the unhealthy patterns that you followed in this past year? What were your limits this past year? What were your limits? Why did they limit you? Why were these things blind spots? Why were these things weaknesses? Why did you continue in these unhealthy patterns? Most times we don't realize the pattern is unhealthy, but when we do this review, then we will see that, oh, this was an unhealthy pattern and I needed to change it. But if you don't do the review, you will not know. You wouldn't realize it. So what were the limits? We have looked at 4 L's now: the lessons, the losses, the lifts, the limits. These are the things you're meant to reflect on. What am I reflecting on during this my period of assessment? And the last L is longings. What were the desires that kept coming back? What, for us Christians, what was God drawing your heart to constantly throughout this period? What desires kept coming back? What things kept repeating? What desires kept coming? What longings kept repeating throughout this period? What was your heart always returning to in this past year? No matter what happened, no matter how the year actually truly went, if you really sit, you'll find that there were things that your heart kept returning to. There were desires that kept coming back. What were they? What were they? The thing about this framework that I have here is that it helps you to extract meaning and direction. You don't just ask the questions, you sit down and you extract the meanings from your experience, from your experiences, from the things that happened to you in the past year. You extract the meanings and you find direction. By the time you look at the lessons, the losses, the lifts, the limits, the longings, you will have seen how your year went, and you would have begun to see the patterns that exist, and you have begun to see how to move forward, how to take the next steps. That is one key thing that this framework helps you do. So it's not just what went well, what didn't go well. You see that is embedded into this 5 L's. What went well, what didn't go well, what should you do differently is embedded here. But it goes just a little bit further. Professor Jerry, I see you on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. Okay. So, oh, something is okay. So those are the 5 L's of what to reflect on: lessons, losses, lifts, limits, longings. Now, let me just say, make some let me call them, well, I guess their comments about reflection. One thing I have seen and have experienced is that reflection helps you see clearly. It helps you see clearly. Because you can't truly plan for the next season of your life, the next thing, the next year, the next whatever, if you don't understand the current one, the one you're still in, the one you're about living, if you truly don't understand the current situation, the current season, the current year, you can't really truly plan for the next one. It will just be like, New Year's resolution by middle of January, they're all gone. So when you reflect, when you take time to reflect, it helps you see patterns, it helps you see habits, it helps you see motivations, it helps you see your triggers. This is the thing that reflection does for you. So it helps you see clearly. It helps you see clearly. Another thing that I have seen that reflection can do for you is that it helps you to grow, but it also helps you to grow wisely. So it's not just to grow, but it helps you to grow wisely. We have been taught that experience is, the best teacher. But I actually think that is evaluated experience that is the best teacher, not just experience. Yeah, it's the experience you have sat down and evaluated and taken the lessons from. That is the experience that teaches you. If you just experience things and move on, I don't really know what you're going to learn from them. Uzo Koli, I see you on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. So, reflection helps you to learn faster, for sure. Um, it helps you avoid repeating mistakes. It helps you. We're not perfect, remember, but reflection helps you to avoid repeating mistakes. It helps you to improve your decision making process, and the actual decisions that you take, because you have sat down to review it, you have sat down to evaluate what happened. So your decisions come out better. Your decisions come out better. Reflection helps you to heal, because if you have not looked at a situation that's like brought you hurt, that brought you pain, you really cannot heal from it. If you have not taken time to kind of review that situation that brought you pain, I always ask people to look at why. Let's assume you got angry at someone. I always ask people to look at, why did the thing this person did upset me? Not necessarily why did this person do what they did? That is not even your concern. This action that this person took, why did it upset me? And when you do that, that is reflection. That is reflection. It helps you to heal, because you have looked at the action, you have looked at the activity, you have looked at the behavior, you have reviewed it, and it can help you heal when you do that, because you've kind of understood it and you've extracted the lessons embedded in it. So reflection helps you release resentment, because really when you study what happened, you've looked at it, you've reviewed, the ins and outs of that situation. Many a times, like the example I gave of anger, when you figure out what upset you in what someone did, the tendency is that you remove the blame from the person. That does not mean that you're justifying people's bad behavior. No. But you kind of release the resentment from your heart, because you have seen that it's not just what the person did, it was also how you perceived it. So reflection helps you release resentment. This I have experienced. I tell people that I make excuse for people ahead of time um, for their bad behavior. It's not that I condone your bad behavior. I will correct you if I have to. I will correct you if I must. Definitely. But because I have excuse date in quote, I'm using that word excuse um, carefully. Because I have sat down and reviewed and reflected and figured out why what you're doing is upsetting me. What is it in the things you said that is upsetting me personally? Not that is generally upsetting, but is upsetting me personally. And I begin to work on my side of it. When you do your bad behavior again, the reaction you get from me will be different. So reflection helps you release resentment. It helps you identify wounds. It helps you identify wounds. It helps you strengthen your ability to forgive. And it helps you reset emotionally. Truly helps you reset emotionally. Reflection also helps you as a Christian. This is targeted to Christians, please. Helps you hear God. Helps you hear God. Because reflection, you in times of reflection, you kind of quieten the noise so that you can hear. So reflection helps you hear from God if you're a Christian. Um, it helps you prepare. Reflection, it helps you prepare. It helps you have clarity. It helps you have a renewed purpose. It helps you have fresh vision. Reflection. These are the things that reflection can do for you. Now, generally, when you're reflecting, even as you're looking at the 5L, you might need to ask yourself some questions as you're looking at the 5Ls. You need to ask yourself, of course, what are your biggest lessons this year? What are you grateful for that you may have overlooked? What drained you emotionally? What strengthened you? What you releasing? As you're doing that 5L framework, these are the questions that you'll be asking. These are the things that will be going through your mind. These are the things that you need to ponder on that will help you truly reflect with intention and not just reflection for the sake of reflection. You will be able to reflect with intention. Okay, so what are our steps for this week? I think, what are the things we can do in this coming week to help our reflection, to help us be reflective, to help us, look at our 2025 and know how to move forward with 2026. Take 1 hour. Take 1 hour and actually intentionally reflect. Find a quiet place. Find a quiet place and go through the 5L framework. Go through the 5L framework and remember that 5L framework is lessons, losses, lifts, limits, longings. Lessons, losses, lifts, limits, longings. Those are the 5Ls. So take an hour today, tomorrow, this week. This week. Find 1 hour. 1 hour is, I want to say 1 hour is the minimum, but it could be less. You really could do this in less, but I think 1 hour just kind of is a happy medium. And set aside time and go through that 5L for 2025. Figure out what were your losses. Let's sit down. Write it down. See, when you're doing this reflection, have a record of what you're doing. Don't just reflect in your mind and leave it in your mind. Your mind can only hold so much. So put things down. The next thing that you can do in this coming week, write down your top 10 lessons from this year. The top 10 lessons that you learned. This will now form like your foundation for your 2026 vision, because the things you learned in 2025 should be the bedrock of your moving forward in 2026. So, what were your top 10 lessons? If you can't do 10, do 5. If you can't do 10, do 5. But write down your top lessons for 2025. I'm sure we learned a lot in 2025. We have a lot of lessons from the year. But look for I don't want to say biggest now, but your top 5, your top 10 lessons for 2025. Write them down. Remember, we're putting things down. We're writing things down. Then identify 3 things that you're going to leave behind in 2025. 3 things that you're going to, as you enter 2026, those 3 things are not coming with you. Identify those 3 things. This steps we are taking, please sit down, write them down. I'm repeating the write them down for a purpose, because many times, many of us, we actually do reflections, we do reflect, but we're not putting it down anywhere. And so we lose part of the gains of that reflection. So please write it down. Your top 10 lessons, 3 things you must leave behind in 2025. Then, for those of us that are Christians, pray over these things. If you're not a Christian, look at it again, review it again. But if you're a child of God, pray over these things and ask the Lord to open your eyes. Ask Him to help you see what He has taught you in this year. In fact, that should have even been the first thing if you're a Christian, before you begin to write down top 10 lessons and all those things, is to ask the Lord to open your eyes to see what He taught you in this year. See this thing I'm saying now. When you do this, when you ask the Lord to open your eyes to see what He has taught you, they say it will be different from what you thought you learned. I'm telling you. To be so different from what you thought you learned. So ask Him to teach you. Ask Him also to give you wisdom so that you can understand and so that you can begin to apply what you need to do to move forward with 2026. And when you have done these things, this is just like what I just mentioned now is not the full reflection experience, but it's something that will help get you going. Take that time, sit, review, go through the 5L framework, look for your top 10 lessons, look for things you must leave behind, and take that step of asking God to really show you the things that He taught you in this year. If you can do this between now and next week, Tuesday, in fact, you will be shocked. You will be shocked at what learnings you will take away. You'll be shocked at the things that you will learn about yourself. You will learn about your experiences. You will learn about your situation, about your circumstance. You will be shocked. So try it. Take this challenge. Do this review. 1 hour tops for this 1 week. 1 hour. Top 10 lessons, things you must leave behind. Write them down and then brood over them. You know what it means to brood over things? Review it, look at it over and again. Don't just write it and one and done. It's not one and done. Look at it. Look at those things you have written down. Think of, review them, evaluate them. Extract the lessons from them. This is key and this is important. And on this note, I think I'll end this session right here, right here. So next week, we're going to be looking at reset and realign, letting go of what holds you back. So we're going to shift from reflection to release, from awareness to actual alignment next week, from just the lessons that we have learned to actual actions to take. That's what we're going to look at next week. So come prepared. Come prepared with your reflection, with your points that you got from your time of reflection, so that when we begin to do the reset and align, you will see how to shift from that reflection to release. Okay, so thank you so much once again for joining me. I want to go back to where I wrote down all the topics for this month of December. Okay, so I'm just going to let us know once again what we are doing in this month of December. So today we've done reflect with purpose. Next week, reset and realign. The next week after that, crafting a vision. Then we're going to look at faith-filled planning. And finally, entering the new year strong. All right, so that is what we have for you for today and what we have for you for the month of December. Please invite someone, share this experience with someone, invite someone to join next week, Tuesday, and for the rest of the year, actually. Invite someone, let someone enjoy what you're enjoying. Let me put it that way. So invite someone to be part of this, of growth habits next week and for the rest of this month. You will gain quite a lot, and so will I, actually, because really what happens, I think I've said this before, but what happens that most times as I'm going through these sessions, I'm picking something myself. I'm learning something myself. So go ahead and invite someone. I just want to see if mm, someone sent me a message. I think I have a session this afternoon. I was hoping they would have sent me the flyer. I can't remember. Yeah, I just hope it will still hold from Signature TV. So I'm supposed to have a session with them this afternoon, this evening, Nigerian time. I think 7 p.m. Nigerian time, Signature TV. Um, it's a session on Zoom. I will send it. I'll send the Zoom link to us. You can join in that. It's a conversation on how the current insecurities in the nation affects those in diaspora. Yeah, so that is what that session is about. And let me take this opportunity to thank Coach Ify. She's the one that introduced me to these people. She gave them my name. So thank you once again. I want to believe that session will hold. They promised to send me a flyer, but I've not seen the flyer. So I'll put the link in the comment section. Okay. Let me see. Let us see. I'll put the link in the comment section. Supposed to be 7 p.m. Nigerian time. If it doesn't hold, I'll also let us know. Okay, so thank you once again for joining me on Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide, I repeat, on this journey of growth. Follow us on all our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. Um, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, even on Facebook, Growth Habits with Ngozi, aside from my personal page, which is where this live session is going on. follow us on all our social media handles everywhere so that you will have these sessions, especially our YouTube, because all these videos are there. You know, Facebook deletes the live sessions after a while. I think after 1 month, they delete the sessions. But on our YouTube page, it's there. Whenever you want, you can see it there. So do subscribe to our YouTube page, Growth Habits with Ngozi. Thank you all once again for joining me. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you, and see you next week, Tuesday, right here on Growth Habits with Ngozi. The time is 1 p.m. Nigerian time. All right. See you next week. See you by 7 p.m. Nigerian time. And that I'll put up the Zoom link. Hopefully that session holds. And then see you next week, Tuesday.